Well, yeah, they call me double clue. 'Cause I don't go outside for nothing. No one's gonna make me leave this room.
So hello everyone and welcome back to the AOR Talkshow. Today you're here on the PC segment with me, and no, it is not Ryan, it's the legend himself this time around. Please welcome Fizzy Fan.
Hello, I am apparently a legend, so that's thanks for that. And first time appearance on the talk show for the PC for me, so excited to be here. And we'll be talking about lots of stuff that's happened so far this season.
Yeah, and sadly last week there wasn't a PC talk show, unfortunately, because I kinda ran out of time to record and edit it, so apologies on that. But today we'll go over a few highlights of the Australian Grand Prix as well, then the proper review of Bahrain, and also preview the Chinese Grand Prix next week, or well, actually this Sunday, like
this week,
tomorrow.
Kind of this week. Yeah,
it's right
very
tomorrow.
Soon, very soon.
But anyway, looking at the Australian Grand Prix, we had a pretty decent season opener with Ferrari locking up the front row, which wasn't a good start for the other guys, let's say.
Yeah,
I mean,
also not very surprising.
True. I mean, as me and Ryan talked about on the lineups video, Ferrari was a very, very strong contender for the Drivers' Championship and also the Constructors, and they really proved it by getting a front row lockout and eventually a win with Terran Tiger. Surprises, I would say probably non-runner on the Williams, qualifying third, and
Very good for his debut.
Yeah, and unfortunately we had one person missing, which was obviously Fizzy's teammate Race Fanatec, which was a real blow for Renault, I would imagine, for that
Not
race.
the best start for the team, but nothing he could really have done about it. There was just technical issues, which happen sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, and as it would kind of be expected, the qualifying was run, pretty much everyone ran on Supersofts except Kellon and the Manor, who
Not quite
tried
sure
to
why he did
qualify
that, because he qualified
softs.
last with the softs, yeah.
Yeah,
it seemed to be a pretty weird choice.
Yeah, it didn't make much difference, but it was a promising qualifying, and it gave us a pretty good race overall. I mean, unfortunately we had Tiger running away with the lead very early on, but the fight for second and even for the spots a bit further behind the field, I mean, overall it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was, I think most people on the grid were quite excited to just be back in F1 League action for the first time in a while. Obviously, quite a few other guys on the grid this season did not take part in last season on F1 2015. And there's a few debutants and all that stuff as well. But of course, we mentioned the Ferrari drivers. We had Tigger, who is a reigning champion from the PS4 side. And then Marco, the reigning champion. Actually, not the reigning champion. No. Berg is the reigning champion, isn't it, for this? But Marco, last time he was in the full league, he won the championship as well in season 10. But yeah, no surprise really that Tigger ran away with it, as you mentioned. 18.5 seconds down to Raven in the end. But at least Raven and Marco were quite close in that battle for second. Just over a second separating them. And it's further down the field, or in the midfield, certainly, around the sort of area I was strolling along. There was quite a bit of action. Indeed. And
there was quite a few amount of penalties as well. I mean, someone who looks at this, they see the clean and fast racing and just something's not right here.
Yeah, but I hope the people who think that to kind of understand how the penalty system works in this game, because obviously, even I would personally say, even if you get like a 3-second penalty or a 6-second penalty, especially around somewhere like Australia where it's quite easy to pick up the warnings, it's only a matter of 3 times off the track in the space of 29 laps when you get a 3-second penalty. So it's not actually. It looks dirty when you just look there and see the penalty on the screen, but it's in reality, it's not actually that dirty. Even I picked up a 3-second penalty for that race. So, yeah, I wouldn't. Oh, despite that, I wouldn't quite consider me a dirty driver just yet.
No, it's a very punishing track, I guess. Albert Park comparing to most of the rest of the calendar, but yeah, that was basically it. Tiger won from Raven and Marco FD on the second Ferrari, running up the podium. Then there was Nick B on the Manor, and Sebi, Fizzy, Berg, Ryan, non-runner, and Midibak running up the top 10. There was any surprises from the rookies, you think?
I think Nick B, I definitely have to mention him, because 4th after qualifying 12th and pulling off a one-stop strategy, which not many people try to do. It was only him and Berg actually in the top 10 who did a one-stopper. So I would say in race pace terms, Nick B was a bit of a surprise. And yeah, non-runner going the other way around from 3rd down to 9 in the race. Apart from that, debut 5th place was Sebi. But yeah, apart from that, don't think there was too many surprises really.
Yeah, and just a quick mention, because I'm looking at this right now. Tiger and Raven, the only ones on the 26, and it was not just a casual 26, it was 26 low, and the third fastest lap was a 27.0. Like,
good point. Yeah, fastest laps. It depends, of course, much on strategy in terms of what happens with the fastest lap. Of course, you can see Nick B finished 4th, but only a fastest lap of 1:28.3, which obviously is purely because of the strategy he was running. But yeah, it goes to show the pace of the guys at the top.
And this led to a very promising Bahrain Grand Prix, which surprisingly enough saw Tiger on pole position. Big surprise.
Again with 0.3 of a second.
Again, but this time ahead of season 11's champion Berg von Trips, and ahead of non-runner with another 3rd place on qualifying for the Williams driver. Eventually you would not have such a great race once again, but we'll get to that a bit later on. But it was an all Scandinavian second row with Mini Black in 4th with the Force India. Then
No. Finland is not in Scandinavia. Everyone gets so confused about this. Everyone thinks Finland is in Scandinavia, but technically they're not.
They're
a Nordic country.
My bad. Everyone just got a geography lesson from Finland now. Finland is not from Scandinavia. But yeah, then we had another non-Scandinavian driver in 6th place, Race Fanatec, this time racing for Renault ahead of Raven, who finished 2nd, and Fitifan.
Who's that?
In 8th place. I wonder who he is.
I have no idea.
But he managed to beat Kellen by the smallest margin possible, 1,000, for getting himself 8th place ahead of Kellen and Canali.
Yeah, only 1 more 1,000 back to Canali as well.
I mean, surprising. I mean, this for the last positions of the top 10 is quite something.
Yes.
But we had once again a solo soft runner on the qualifying. This time it was Sebi in 13th place, which wasn't as bad as Kellen in Australia. 13th place, obviously it doesn't matter because he's offside the top 10, but still, I mean, it's respectable, I would say, to get 13th place.
When you consider that he was 1.2 seconds off the pace on the soft tire, and everyone had him qualify on the super soft. If you look at the times, I would say, in terms of the kind of average gap between the super soft and the soft tires, he would probably have the pace, if he did run the faster tire, to be close to the top 5, I'd say. But he clearly had a strategy plan in mind going into that session and wanted to start the race on the soft tires. I mean, did it work out for him?
Realistically, I think Sebi was only 9/10 of a realistic position, because let's not include Tiger on this fight, shall we?
I guess.
It's just.
I'm not sure we get 9/10 though on the better tires, but definitely like 6/10 could have been possible. Sure.
Yeah, I would believe so. But obviously, this time's absence was Iceman 46, obviously season 10 champion on PS3. who moved from obviously PlayStation to PC this season. But for the race, we had a few incidents on those first few laps. Ryan involved,
Yes.
Callan involved, non-runner involved, like half of the grid involved almost on those first few laps. I mean, how did it feel like on your POV, like to see so many cars just, I don't know, snaking through the circuit and just.
I'm not sure there was too much snaking going on. There was just crazy action all over the place in the first few laps, to be honest. Of course, the first corner, when I went down to the first corner very much on the inside, just wanted to take a tight line, stay out of trouble, and suddenly we got the Red Bull of Raven just sideways in the middle of the apex. Luckily, there was a tiny gap on the inside, which I managed to sneak through, but I think there was a few guys a bit behind me who weren't as lucky and got held up by Raven quite a bit. Even though when I was passing him, he was completely sideways, he managed to recover and only lost a few positions, but yeah, quite a bit of drama down there at turn 1. And you mentioned non-runner as well. He had an incident with coming together with Marco, I believe, at turn 4, I guess that would be at the end of that first straight. Yeah, so he dropped a few positions as well. Yeah, trying to think.
Ryan had a terrible
Yeah,
start.
what happened to Ryan actually? Because I haven't actually looked back at Ryan's video. I hope he doesn't watch this, because then he'll be mad.
Ryan had on lap 2 he had a collision with a Sauber of Cool Cat going to turn 4. I believe it was like a side pod glitch because it wasn't that big of an impact, but it basically spun Ryan around and had to go back on track and lost 10-15 seconds easily.
Did you tap him on the red tire or something?
No, it was really the side pod.
Oh wow, okay.
Just properly the side pod.
It's kind of the type of crash I've seen very often in this game is kind of you touch the car in front tiny bit on the red tire and you just spin completely around. But yeah, I guess it was back to the more regular side pod glitch from the previous game.
But yeah, I mean, it was a surprisingly bad start for some of the front runners. I mean, Raven didn't end up much better than Ryan. Mini Black, who was starting at the front as well, didn't have the most successful races. But we did have some surprises, and I'm not sure if it was a surprise for you, but Race Fanatec for me has to be one of the strongest races on that Sunday at Bahrain.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it wasn't really that surprised, just purely because based on the time trial times and stuff that were posted before the season, I know that he clearly has a great pace. But yeah, definitely when he qualified 6th and only a couple of tenths ahead of me, I probably didn't expect him to fight for the podium like he did. So yeah, I was very impressed by that, and some good points for the team. Thanks him as well.
Very good for the banana car.
Indeed.
But yeah, at the front, Terran Tiger once again. Well, it wasn't as extreme as Australia,
it's
but
an improvement
still,
in terms of the gap.
Yes,
I have to say.
I mean, we took 7 seconds out of
exactly
of Australia, but nevertheless, I mean, still a lot of work needed to catch up with the British driver. Marco FD managed to secure Ferrari's first 1-2 of the season ahead of Race Fanatec. Brave won trips, falling from 2nd place on the grid to 4th, not too bad. Also important to notice that Race Fanatec got a 3-second penalty, that's why he lost 2nd place.
Yeah, he crossed the line in 2nd, didn't he?
Which is a shame. I mean, in all honesty, because he was doing a great job throughout the whole race. But Fizzifan getting 5th place. After him, it was non-runner Odon, which was the only one trying a very ambitious strategy that actually paid off.
I still have no freaking clue how he managed to pull up a 1-stop around Bahrain, because the tyre wear that I've been feeling around there in the practice and also during the race. I mean, I did 2 stints on the mediums along with the first 4 laps on the super soft. So how he managed to go that long, he must have done like 20 laps on the medium tires. I don't understand. But somehow he must be some kind of magician, because he did make it work.
Yeah, and he finished Nuka, who was the second driver, getting a 3-second penalty, so falling from 6th to 8th. Then Sebi and Nick B rounding up the top 10 after getting a surprising 4th place in Australia. Then it was Chicane, Ryan after a dismal race for him, Kellon on the second mana, Canali. Jesus Christ, please put some decent names for next season, please. Please,
we'll stick to pronouncing the K, because that's how you do in my actual name in real life as well.
Okay. Then Raven, another one with a terrible race. Then second McLaren, Birkhoff, Cool Cat, Mini Black, and the Lord 12, who finished 18 laps behind, so retired very early on, and so did Mini Black. But still, it was, in terms of action, compared to Australia, can we say it was better, worse?
Obviously, I haven't seen everything that happened in the race. Yeah, I think it was pretty even, to be honest. I would say it's pretty even. Both of them pretty action-packed, but could have been much worse, but also could have been probably slightly better in terms of action. But
yes, we're talking about you, Tiger.
Yeah, Tigger. We really need someone to take Tigger out in the next one. Just so we can see him do some work in some battles.
Quali ban for being too quick. There we go. We have it sorted for China. But speaking of China, that's obviously the next Grand Prix that you'll be able to see tomorrow at 8 p.m. probably on Twitch. If I do know, I'll put the link down in the description. But
twitch.tv/Ranger1980 for some reason.
There we go.
Hosted by King Kodiak. I do not know why his Twitch channel name is that, but I guess that would have been his old username or whatever.
I mean, we never really know why YouTube and Twitch names are what they are sometimes.
Yeah. That goes to my YouTube name.
But yeah, I mean, China. It's not quite like Australia. It's not quite like Bahrain. Maybe I don't know. It's a complex track, but it has one of the longest straights on the calendar, if not the longest. So
yeah, it might be the longest. I'm not completely sure. Certainly one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Mexico's one is pretty damn long.
Yeah, that might be longer actually. I don't have the stats on that in my head, but
no, neither do I.
It's a damn long straight.
Yes, it is very long. But I'm sure we'll see a lot of overtakes and people outbraking themselves going for that hairpin. But it's a track that, unlike Bahrain, we can see a few spots of rain there, and that could make it a lot more interesting than on the dries.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. If I was a spectator of the league right now, I probably would have been wanting some rain for that race. As a driver, I'm not quite sure, just because I don't feel too comfortable in this game just yet. But yeah, the rain definitely a possibility, and if it does rain, then certainly will be very interesting, because so far this season, of course, we haven't seen how any of the drivers will do in the rain. So that could certainly shake things up if it did happen.
We could have an Australia from Xbox. Very intense rain there at Australia. So it would be nice to bring that to China. It would certainly be very entertaining to see drivers spinning around all the time. But
as long as it's on me, that's fine.
In case that doesn't happen, obviously we have the same tire allocation as the first 2 rounds of the season: super softs, softs, and obviously mediums. Are we expecting someone again to go for a strategy of a 1-stop, or this time around 2-stop is definitely safer?
I think if someone does 1-stop around this track, then that's going to be more crazy than I've done doing it in Bahrain, because from what I haven't actually done at the time of recording this, I haven't done any started in practice yet, so I don't know, personally exact how bad the tire wear is going to be. I just go by what I've seen on the forum, people posting that the tire wear is going to be horrible. And like Tyranno Tiger, he said that the front tires will be burning up, which is unsurprising considering there's quite a few like medium high-speed corners, which is bad for the front tires, of course. And yeah, I think I saw Jason in the Xbox forum posting that he wasn't even able to do a 3-stopper in his practice race. So,
well, that would be interesting.
yeah. So even 2-stopper might be a challenge on this one based on those comments, but yeah, it remains to be seen. I think tire wear is going to be a bigger issue here than in the first two.
So could we possibly see a 3-stop with 3 sets of mediums and 1 of super softs because of the qualifying?
I
Or do
don't
you
know.
think
Yeah,
doing
so,
a 3-stop would be softs?
Yeah, maybe. If you start based on just purely about what people have said, I think if you do qualify on the super soft tires and have to start in the top 10 on them, yeah, it seems likely that 3-stoppers could be a thing. To be honest, exactly if you have to do all those things then on the medium tires, I do not know. Because as I said, I don't know exactly how long each tire are wearing just yet. But,
Or maybe you could see some people qualifying on the softs.
yeah, something more than just one each time so far.
I mean, because, like you said, I mean, if the tire weight is that big, it's probably not worth it to go on the super softs for the qualifying because they'll just not be able to run enough laps to probably gain an advantage with it.
Might end up having to pit up like 3 laps or something, which yeah, it's going to be tricky. Yeah, that's now you're making me kind of hope it doesn't rain again, because just interested to see how the strategies will play out in the dry now.
Well, I mean, in terms of tire strategy, this is by far probably the most interesting so far in the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking at how it's being developed, but if we had to bet on second place, because first place is kind of obvious, looking at what has been happening so far, who would you pick for China?
That's a tricky question. There's definitely a few guys in the running. Of course, Marco and Berg, who both have showed great pace this season, and of course Race Fanatec. Can't rule my teammate out either, considering he did cross the line, as we mentioned, second in Bahrain. It wasn't for his penalty. Yeah, non-runner maybe as well could be in contention if he sorts his races out, because clearly in qualifying he's shown great pace, but just hasn't been able to stay out of trouble in the races for some reason. Yeah, I think one of those 4. If I was gonna pick one, I'm gonna. I'm just because I'm in the Renault team, I'm gonna give it to Race Fanatec.
Team favoritism.
Yeah, maybe.
Unbelievable. This is why you have me here, to not everyone be biased.
Only 50% bias in it.
I mean, we do know you're going to finish 4th, right? Because you finished 6th in Australia, 5th Bahrain.
That'll be my aim. 4th for this race, and then moving up to the podium. Actually, shit, I forgot that for round 4 is Russia. That's not going to happen. Absolutely despise that fact.
It will be fine.
I'll be trying my best.
We will have some rain for Russia if you want.
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be fine.
I mean, looking at this, I think we probably shouldn't throw off Raven as well. Maybe. I mean, you did get a podium in Australia.
That's true. I was just, because I did my prediction now, I was looking at the Bahrain result and Raven was so far down. I was like, oh. But yeah, of course, that would have been mostly because of the incident. Yeah, definitely another one that could be up there.
Yeah, but I mean, after going to China, obviously the standings are looking, well, not too far from the Bahrain race, I would say. Tiger running with 50 points after 2 wins. Marco FD in second on 33. Then we have 3 men tied up in third place: Raven, Berg, Von Trips, and Fizzifan with 18 points. Then the other banana cars, Race Fanatic in 6th with 15 points, Nick B with 13, Sebi 12, Non-Runner 10, and then Odarn on the Force India in 10th place with 6 points. Then there's only other 3 drivers with points: Rhino 83, Nuka, and Mini Black. Obviously we have some strong drivers who haven't scored points yet. however. Chicane got very close in Bahrain. The Lot 12 got very close in Australia. Iceman, who is a very strong driver, and probably Burkhoff, and I mean, I think everyone really on this championship.
Yeah, I would say all the drivers in the league are a strong driver. It's just a matter of how strong relative to the field. That's the thing, and it's such a tricky field to be good in this season, because basically it's quality up and down the field. But just on Chicane and Iceman, unfortunately, their first points is not going to come in China because they've already announced that they're not going to be there, unfortunately.
Oh, and so is
same with Ryan as well.
Right? Yeah. So McLaren is clearly going to make some upgrades on the engine. That's why they're missing China. But that's pretty much it for this China preview. I would guess, unless you have anything else to say about tomorrow's Grand Prix, Fizzy?
No, not really. I'm just looking forward to it myself, of course, to drive it. It's great to be back in the F1 leagues again after a while out as a driver, and hopefully all the other drivers are looking forward to it as well, so that we can have another exciting race for not only for the stream, of course, for those who'll be watching that, but for ourselves as well.
So yeah, that's pretty much it then for today's episode of PC on the AOR Talkshow. Once again, I would like to apologise for last week, but I wouldn't say it's going to happen again soon, so unless obviously some uni work, very important, comes up, which I hope it doesn't. But I believe for today it is all. Obviously, I'd like to thank Fizzy for replacing Ryan this week, and he's very welcome to return someday soon.
Oh, thanks, man.
But that is it. Don't forget to. I mean, it almost sounds silly to say it, but if you haven't, don't forget to check out Fizzy's channel. He has all the highlights of the races and a lot more, like thousands of videos to watch. So go take a look. And
is it that many now? Jesus.
Well, they do seem like it. So
it does seem like it at this point. Yeah, been doing it for a while now. And guys, make sure you subscribe to Pepper's channel as well. Just thought I'd shoot that one in there, because he'll be having all the talk shows for every platform on his channel.
Yeah, but also don't forget to check your talk show's Facebook page, Twitter page, and obviously SoundCloud, because we are in there as well, which is amazing. But nevertheless, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll be back soon to review the events of the Chinese Grand Prix and also preview the Russian Grand Prix, which Fizzy won't be looking forward to. But anyway, take care.
See you guys.